another episode. My name's Steph, and I'm your pod savvy guide. And can I tell you a secret? This is just my opinion, take it or leave it, but I don't think that successful podcasters have more motivation than everyone else. I think that they have better habits. And here's why. I've done 1,000 episodes, and sometimes people think, wow, that I have some big productivity hack. And yes, I love to automate and I love, having systems. But to be honest, it's never been like one big thing. It's been all these different tiny habits that make podcasting easier. So, this episode, I am going to talk about these tiny habits that have saved me hours and helped me avoid the podcasting burnout and honestly made podcasting a lot more fun. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is spend 5 minutes before you quit. Now, this helps me so much in editing. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, okay, let's just edit 5 minutes. And then I get to 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, let's just edit 7 minutes. Okay, let's just edit 10 minutes. Or after I record an episode, it's like, okay, well, let's just put the intro and outro on really quick so we'll be ready to go. Just going that extra step has really helped me because sometimes when you get in the flow, then you're done. And you're like, oh, that was easy peasy. And it's a lot easier to do something right in the moment than to wait a month and be like, wait, what do I want to edit from this episode? So, and here's the thing, like you could do this. So I use 5 minutes with editing, but you could be like, you know what? I'm going to make sure every week I'm recording a 5-minute episode. And maybe you just make sure that, I give that example with editing, but maybe if you're like, okay, I want to be consistent podcasting weekly or every other week or monthly, but you don't really have the motivation to like put together an episode. Maybe your thing is, I'm just recording for 5 minutes. And then most likely you're going to sit down and you'll be like, oh, I actually have more to talk about. I find that all the time on these solo episodes. I'm like, oh, that will be like, 7-10 minutes. And the last one I did, I'm like, oh, that was 17. Because sometimes you just start going and rambling and sharing stories and all the things. So the first is spend 5 minutes before you quit. And then the second is leave yourself a next step. Now, this is why I love using like project management system. I use Asana. That's not like an actual sauna. Like everyone always thinks whenever I say Asana, they're like picturing Asana. It's a project management software like Monday.com and all the things. But on my podcast board, I move, when I finish a task, I move it to the next step. So I don't have to be like, oh, did I record this? Did I edit it? I see exactly where it's at. And it just saves that time of being like, where am I at in the process? So, and my board that I have written out, sometimes people like add, with project management, they add like different tasks that can be subtasks that can be added. For me, it's just easier. I literally have a long, you know what? Let me share my screen with you. I'm going to show you actually. Okay. So this is my project management for podcasting. And so this was when I was doing my 100-day challenge. So these were the podcasts for that. These are other contacts, like anyone I've ever thought to contact I have in there. These are people that said yes, but like didn't schedule. These are other potential guests. These are solo podcast ideas. I mean, I have 26 in there. These are guests that have scheduled. These are episodes that need recording. So like right now I'm doing this tiny habits one. I'm batching out all of these episodes. So there's 7 episodes or 6 that I'm batching right now. These are the episodes that are recorded but need editing. Then let me just move this. Then here's the episodes. And maybe I spelled episode wrong. But that are edited and exported. Then I have episode published / scheduled. Then I have email sent / scheduled. Then I have all social media clips. And then I just added Instagram that's supposed to be Instagram clips because sometimes with my 52 weeks, it's not connected to my Facebook anyways. So I have to do that separate. But like, and then I move it to completed. But it's so easy to just move it over and then I can keep track of it. And I know, okay, like social media clips, these are all edited, the email sent, it's published. I just have to do the social media clips for it. And then right here for the Instagram, all these other clips are scheduled. I just have to do the Instagram ones. So I don't know if that helps you to see it, but like honestly, not having to be like, where am I in the process? And having a place I can put all of my ideas, everything. And yeah, it's a little messy in these ones because there's all these random things, but it honestly helps me so much. So I'm going to stop sharing. Honestly, like not having to waste energy of being like, where do I start? It's a game changer. And to even add like, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to do this tomorrow or I'm going to do this on Thursday. And then that notification pops up of, hey, you need to get this done. So never end with a blank page. Always leave yourself an obvious next step. The third thing is, to batch, whether you want to do weekly, monthly, whatever you want, but like I love batching. Like you saw here, I'm batching 6 episodes. Yes, I'm in the same clothes. It doesn't really matter, but I just have right here, and you know what? I'm going to just share my screen with you again so you can see. Okay, so I just did a Word doc and like I just put all of so these are all the episodes that I'm doing, and I mean, it's 33 pages, I think. Uh, but I'm just scrolling down and I make it really big, and behind me I have a big TV that just shows everything. But like this makes it nice, and honestly, like this is just an outline. Sorry, I have a eyelash. This is just an outline, but then it just like helps me to I'll like see it and then be like, oh yeah, I want to add this or whatnot. But to like batch and not have any outlines, it's a ramble fest and sometimes you don't have ideas. So I really love batching. And I actually have 2 Instagram captions that are batched that I like wrote beforehand because I used to try to wing it. And honestly, just having something there, I can't even tell you how much it makes me feel a lot more prepared. And I'm not like afterwards being like, oh, I should have said that. So I'm gonna stop nerding out about this, but let's go on to the fourth. And that's like create a podcast ready space. And honestly, that's helped me so much, especially when I was doing my 100 days of podcasting, because sometimes my first episode would be like 5 a.m. I'm waking up, I'm groggy. And so, one thing that I love that has really helped me is that I have this remote control. It's called Jewin Mills. And you can set up like 5 things. And so you just put it in the outlets. And I have my lights all connected to it. So I can just walk in and push this. And then I have 2 lights right here that are always in the same setup. And I can use this remote to get them into the place that I want. And then I have a spot for my laptop that connects to my TV right here. So especially doing guests, I can see them. And anyways, and then my mic's right here and the cord to it connects to my phone. And there's a stand for my phone right here. So it just is, I'm like, I should probably show you the setup, but I'm like, if I wasn't batch recording, I would show you the setup, but it will take me too long to like show you and then get everything back in the right place. But this has helped me so much that it's just, I turn on the lights, I'm good to go. Like setup is easy peasy. And then it's the same every time. And I have my headphones right here. So if I have a guest, I can use them. And there's not a ton in this room, and that's on purpose. So there's not like a bunch of clutter or stuff that can distract me right here. I have just this tiny little like table that's like a end table that has some remotes, my mouse that controls my laptop that's connected to the TV, and a water. So, and you might not have a space that is only used for podcasting. I was able to turn a bedroom and just make this sort of my studio space. But maybe keep if you're using a mic or a stand, just keep it in the same place so that it is easy when you have a podcast that you can hurry and set it up. So I think that that's the biggest thing, that you aren't running around being like, "Where's this?" How, or that exactly like the spot that you want to record in. All that stuff ahead of time makes it a lot easier for you when you're recording. So, and if you really wanna get detailed, you can create a checklist. You can have a little checklist right here by you being like, "Is my phone silenced?" "Do I have water? Do I have their bio?" Like, all the things. But I think whatever it is for you that makes you sit down and feel comfortable and confident, instead of feeling like, "I don't know where anything is," really helps you for whatever conversation you're having, if that's a solo or guest. And then, like, the fifth thing is celebrate publishing, like, it's it's always a big deal to publish an episode, to be able to create something, and the fifth thing that's really helped me, and I say this over and over and over, and sometimes I feel like such a broken record, but it's to, create goals. My 100-day challenge, 65-day challenge, all that has helped me to keep moving forward. Um, Whether it's a challenge that you're like, "Hey, I wanna be in the top 25% of podcasters." And with that, I don't know how much it is to be in the top 25%. Maybe it's like 50 listeners? I don't know exactly, but whatever those type of goals you want or that you wanna publish. And the fifth thing is set goals. This has been huge in helping me with podcasting. Whether it's, my 100-day challenges that I've done, whether you're being like, "Okay, I wanna track how many episodes that you're doing." If you're just starting out, you're like, "I wanna get to 10 episodes," or, "I wanna get to 25," or whatever that might be. If you're like, "Wait, I want to be doing this weekly," and so you get it so that you can be, or you wanna be doing it daily, whatever it is, like those type of goals. Maybe you're like, "I wanna be in the top 25% of podcasters," and you're able to look at that number, and I think that's only like 100 downloads. I don't know where, I haven't looked at it recently, but it's not like so unrealistic. Like, we aren't talking about hundreds of thousands or even thousands. Um and you're able to do that goal, but, like, whatever you can do to move it forward, or maybe you're like, "You know what? I'm gonna share my podcast with 50 people. I'm gonna invite this many people as guests." Those metrics really help in moving your podcast forward and not making them boring, because you're having these milestones along the way. And James Clear in Atomic Habits, he says that if you improve by just 1% every day, those small improvements will compound until you're roughly 37 times better after 1 year. So, this concept, I'm like, "Ugh, can you really get like 37% better?" Like, the math wasn't mapping. And so I was looking more into it. And I found this on James Clear's website as he's talking about it, and he said it's so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and to underestimate the value of making a small improvement on a daily basis. Too often, we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. Whether it's losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, or achieving any other goal, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. Meanwhile, improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes it isn't even noticeable, but it can be far more meaningful, especially in the long run. The difference a tiny improvement can make over time is astounding. Here's how the math works. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline nearly down to zero, which starts as a small win or a minor setback, accumulates into something much more. And then he has, like, the math of 1% better, the improvement. But I never thought about that, like, if you don't do anything, you're getting 1% worse. And I thought that that was, 1% isn't particularly notable, and sometimes it's not even noticeable. And if you're in a place right now where you're feeling like the stuff you're doing with your podcast isn't noticeable, but you really are enjoying this and you have a bigger vision for your podcast, and maybe you're wanting to make a bunch of videos so that you have a video library that you can send your clients to, or maybe you're wanting to recruit employees and you want them to see what the company is like that 1% getting better is going to make a difference, even if it's not noticeable to anybody else right now, and the skills that you're learning and how you're getting better on camera. And so I needed this today as I've been struggling with podcasting and struggling just getting back on like track of being where I want to be with it, that I'm so the person that I want the big achievement, like the 1,000 podcasts, the 100 podcasts in 100 days, the earth-shattering improvement. But the 1% that's not notable, it's far more meaningful in the long run. And so I just think that that's such a good reminder. Okay. Um, and podcasting really does work that same way of one better interview, one better intro, one better thumbnail, one better question, one better habit. Over time, those tiny improvements create a podcast you barely recognize. So, just to recap, here's the 5 tiny habits that make podcasting easier. Work on your podcast for just 5 minutes. Always leave yourself a next obvious step. Batch, one task, whether that's you're doing weekly or monthly, but try batching. Create a podcast recording area. Maybe it's, like I said, maybe you don't have a whole space, but you know where your stuff is so that you're good to go. And the last thing is set a metric. Set a metric that you can accomplish and that keeps you moving and keeps it creating. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by your podcast, don't try to change everything this week, My challenge for you is to look at what's one thing that you can do to get that 1% better? One thing to help you be consistent and help you continue to enjoy podcasting. And remember, done is better than perfect. And thank you so much for pushing play and listening to this episode. And until next Saturday, keep on creating, keep on learning, and keep on showing up because your audience needs your voice, your personality, and your podcast. And I'll catch you guys later.